On. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another webinar that I'm organizing these days with the speakers around the world, the best in their industry. What we are doing these days, here sitting at our home, and often we what to do is good to rethink and analyze what the life will look like after this crisis passes. And often we hear that nothing will be the same anymore. But at the same time, we see some old-fashioned behaviors around us, like more compassion, more trying to help to other people, and more we see who is our friend and who is willing to help when it is hard, and we need a confidence in the people. So these are the things that are not changing through the time. But still, if we look at the technology at the last few decades, we see that we are witnesses of the rapid development of technology in all areas of our life. Some things that we use today even did not exist 2 decades before. And this technology, this huge technology development is changing our life and changing our industry. So our industry is needed to adopt the change and to find a way to work in this emerging development of technology. Hopefully, there are many tools developed and many technological advances that we can use in our industry to follow the needs, the change needs of the people around, and to follow all the overall development of our life at all. So that's good, but it's pushing us to be always on the leading edge of technology as to answer to the needs of our customers and clients and to overall development of the life. Thinking is for speaking about this topic, I will need a person that is not only familiar with the development of technology, but is applying technology in his life and business, and still be in continuous communication with our, not communication, but doing our business real estate every day with applying the technology. So the person that I choose is having all of that, but not more of that. The person that is born in technology and developed with it, born and raised with technology, always being on the leading edge of technology and using it to develop his company, who at this very moment is having, if he didn't accept somebody else while I was doing this introduction, he was having 488 agents in his company. Of course, that is one of the most successful companies in very developed market, which is Miami and surrounding. And not only that, he is the chairman of the board of the directors in Miami Association. Simply said, Jorge Guerra Jr. Thank you, Jorge, for accepting my invitation to speak to us about the leading things in technology.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. For a minute, I didn't know who you were talking about. Well, all those great things. I said that's who is that? Who is that? But thank you for
you didn't recognize, but
thank you for the great introduction. I appreciate that.
All of that. We are. I was happy to meet some of these things, being in Miami at the annual conference of Miami Association of Realtors. So then I was listening to your beautiful session, and you showed me that it is truth. So now I want to share all of these things that I learned about traveling around, visiting the conference, meeting with the people I like to share with my colleagues in my region, in Serbia and surrounding countries, and not only that, in the whole Europe and the world. So we are now having participants at this event from Slovenia, from Croatia, from Bosnia and Herzegovina, from Serbia, Romania, of course, United States. I think there are registered people from India and Singapore, and I think they will join us during this meeting. So we are sharing this this knowledge and skills not only in my region but overall the world. We wanted to speak about how to answer to development of technology in overall life and in our industry as to make our business more successful. And as I understood, that is exactly what are you doing in your company.
Do me a favor. I have a couple people from my region. Can you introduce yourself to my people?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That is big opportunity of me. I'm doing real estate in Serbia 20 years already. Even I thought I'm younger, but it is written like that. And we were, I was the part of the our association that was lobbying for getting the licensing law in our country, which is not very often in European and the other world countries out of United States. So we succeeded in 2013 to lobbying to get the licensing law. I was happy to be the part of that team. And later on, I was very interesting to spread the communication and to do a networking with the people around the world and with the best associations. So I take that as my mission, and I was working on connecting NAR with our association, not only in my country and in surrounding countries as well. So eventually we signed agreement with NAR in 2016 in Orlando, Florida, and I'm the member of our real estate cluster and president of Global Business Council and vice president of the Professional Council. So in short, I'm doing the commercial real estate in my company, which is called Riznica. And now, but my passion is teaching and sharing the knowledge with the people, because I was supposed to be, I'm engineer, PhD in electrochemistry, so I was supposed to work something else, but you never know in your life, the ways of the people are unpredictable. So I'm now in this industry and I'm trying to get the best and give the best of it. So I think it's enough to speaking about me, but with us, our colleagues from Serbia, from Bosnia and Herzegovina, which we were trying to connect with NAR. So we have Realtors in Bosnia and Herzegovina as well. And I'm trying to do that with Croatia and Slovenia to help them to become the members of NAR.
All right.
For the end of my presentation is we signed agreement with Miami Association of Realtors in 2016, and that was the first agreement of cooperation we signed with some local association, and we start from the greatest.
I believe it. I believe it. I believe it. All right, let me see if we have any other guests before we get going, and we don't. I want to start off again by thanking you for the invitation. It's a great honor, first and foremost, to be part of your web series or your chats, and thank you for sharing me with your audience as well. I think anytime we can connect, we get closer, even though we're separated by hundreds of thousands of miles. I think our industry is based on relationships, and again, there's no better way to build them than leveraging what we're doing in today's time. Before I get started, I want to share with you a little bit about my past. I've been in the business 22 years, so I'm 42 years old. So I started when I was 18 years old, and I started before the internet. And the beauty about real estate before the internet was that it was very simple, very simple. There was only several ways to communicate with your audience. You either called them on the phone, you mailed them something, or you knocked on your door. You know, those were the, or you would market to them from some sort of print marketing perspective, magazine or mail. 10 years after I got my license, two major things happened. The real estate market crashed and the internet boomed at the very same time. One of the greatest lessons that I learned during the internet boom was a simple one, that it no longer mattered where or who you worked for. It mattered how well you marketed online, how well you created not only your brand, but your proof of success, that you were in the business, you were active, but more importantly, that you were moving real estate. When the real estate market crashed, okay, people are asking me today, hey, George, if the market crashes today, what can I do? And I got good and I got bad news. The good news is that when the market crashes, the last crash, the lesson that I learned was a simple one, that this is a reputation business. You know, those who had a reputation and when the market crashed, people went to them. You know, times were hard and they wanted a trusted resource that was able to perform and that had a history of performance. During the first market crash, I had a little bit of a history of performance, but I didn't have enough, in my opinion, to really compete effectively. More importantly, you know, I was married and I bought the house of my dreams, and my wife was expecting her very first baby. That taught me a second lesson, that when there's chaos, there's opportunity for revolution, change. And one of the things that I did notice as the internet was booming, what was that, due to the fact that I didn't have the best or a good or a big reputation, I needed to figure out how I was going to leverage technology in order to compensate for that factor. Okay. One of the things that I was the very first generation to go to college with a computer. You know, I was the first tech native, you know, generation. So as the market crashed and the internet boomed and the market got scary, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel was, hey, you know, this new internet, you know, this new technology, you know, what are the possibilities? And who better to interpret it than somebody who was a tech native in an environment where the average broker was 63 years old and the average real estate agent was 56 years old. Okay, during this times, these guys didn't even have a computer. They were still paper and pen, and they sort of wanted to keep it old school. That allowed somebody like me to sort of take advantage of that opportunity and start creating a new reputation. And again, my success is not because I'm smart or I'm the sharpest person in the shed. My success is because I've been consistent through time, and time has built my reputation where 10 years later, you know, I have a reputation, like people were saying, of being very with technology, being able to market, and really being able to move some real estate in South Florida. So with that being said, today's talk is really just to show you guys how we've tried to keep up with technology, how we tried to stay ahead, how a company like ours, which is a homegrown company out of South Florida, has been able to compete in probably one of the most competitive real estate markets of all time. All right, give me 1 second, because I need to take a sip and I need to allow some more people into the class.
So this story exactly explains why with your name is connected, born in the boom and raised in the crash.
Born in the boom, raised in the crash. All right, so I'm going to share my screen, and I'm just going to talk through some slides, and anywhere in between there, feel free to hit me up with any hard questions that you want. Okay, I'm here to really give back, and if you have a question, feel free to type it into the chat. With that being said, let me go to this presentation first. All right, and let me go back to the top. And can we see that full screen? Awesome. So especially right now, this is going to be a little bit of a hybrid talk of not only sales under a pandemic, what we're doing, but also some of our marketing background. But sales under a pandemic, right now, just like in my crash in 2008, we are having a huge technology revolution. I don't know if you guys have noticed it, but we're on one right now. You know, never before have we connected the way we're connecting face to face on a computer. Not only are we collaborating and are we having conversation, not only are we doing webinars that we're learning, but we're using this to have happy hours. We're using this to have book clubs. We're using this to connect in ways that we used to connect in real life, but artificially, almost virtually, better said. Not only are we using this to socialize, but people from a commercial real estate perspective are telling me, hey, George, you know what? Commercial real estate might not ever be the same. You know, people are now learning that they can work remote from anywhere in the world. You know, and you know, there's going to be a good chance that after this, people might not go back to work from the traditional perspective. You know, that people are going to take advantage of working from home just because it's more comfortable. They get to spend time with their kids. They get to take care of some of the household chores, or they just feel more comfortable, or even better, my favorite, you get to save the environment without driving and wasting some gas. But again, I think this quarantine has forced us to look in to the technology that is out there, forced ourselves to use it, and we've asked ourselves, you know, how can we connect again, and how can we use this, you know, to be human again? And I think what's going to evolve from this is, from a business perspective, you know, are we going to cut down in drive time? You know, are we going to have less meetings face to face? You know, how are we going to add this type of strategy back into our business? And I think those that understand this shift, and those that shift first and aggressive and grow, I think those are going to be the most effective people moving forward. I think one thing that we know from a human perspective is that we like easy. You know, we like simple. And if I have to drive to meet you, or if I can connect from a computer, oof, I think our future and our younger generation is going to say, you know what, I'd rather connect face to face. When I look at my kids, okay, my kids aren't even Zooming. They're on FaceTime. They are direct face-to-face communication with their friends, you know. And not only that, but they don't even type on their phones. If they're talking to Siri, hey Siri, do this. Hey Siri, do that. Let me make sure my Siri doesn't go off. So again, take a look at what's going on. Look at the new technology that's out there. Don't settle for what you see. Ask yourself, how are they using it differently? Okay, look at the youth in South Florida and in Miami. We have a young professional network, and I'm constantly looking at those under the age of 30, and I'm seeing how they're communicating, what tools they're using, how they're expressing themselves. And for two reasons. Number one, I want to learn, and number two, my future audience is them. You know, they are my future audience, and I want to make sure that myself, from a communication perspective, that I understand how they're doing it, why they're doing it, and make sure that I'm part of that equation as well. So one thing that I've been telling everybody is, obviously, safety is first. Okay, so during this pandemic, we are agents of the community. It's our job to lead in the community, and safety is first. I told you earlier about the demographics of the average realtor in my business, 63 and 57 years old. You know, that isn't a dangerous age for this pandemic. More than anything, I want to make sure that they are safe and that they are able to continue to perform. I'm going to add to the chat when I'm done how to corona-proof your home, so you guys can take a look at that. And if you guys want to rebrand that and take that and use that for your collateral, feel free to go ahead and do that. Second thing is, get involved. You need to ask yourself this. We are realtors, and in Miami and in South Florida, you know, 70% of us volunteer in the community. You know, we are people that move the industry. We move communities. We get involved. With this pandemic, we have been limited. So some of the things that we've been doing is we've been volunteering, and feeding the healthcare workers, donating food for them, and finding a way to get involved. We also have neighbors that are older. Great opportunity to reach out to them and see how you can get involved. One thing that I do remember from my last real estate crash is that those that I rubbed shoulders with during the hardest times were the best of friends coming out. Relationships are not born on success always. Relationships are usually born during the toughest times, working together, getting through things together, trusting each other, working hard for each other. And again, those that come out of there, I think those relationships come out stronger and better than others. So this new pandemic has forced us to shift not only the way that we communicate, but the way that we practice. So some of the things that have shifted is, virtual appointments, digital property lists, virtual and property tours, how that has changed the games. Offers, obviously, email and online signatures. Okay, no longer are the times of faxes and touching paper and touching pens. The game has sort of changed. Technology, is now taking a place that's been uber effective in how we practice. And I'll touch on that a little bit. But more importantly, let's go back to the basics. And here in the US, 98% of all home buyers go online first. The first showing happens online. Can you unmute yourself real quick and can you tell me, in Serbia, how are people searching for real estate?
Well, in Serbia, the people are searching mostly by internet as well. And first communication is the phone. Usually phone. Maybe this will change the possibilities because now we were having the webinars about using Zoom, and more companies are adopting it to use it in the company. And we were speaking about how to use it with the clients, to work with the clients.
Good.
I believe it. This will change. This will be one of the changes that will be adopted after the crisis passed. But for now, the first communication is phone conversation, and they mostly we do through internet. But there are all the other ways to get a lead.
Good, awesome. So going back to what I was saying, 98% of all search happens online, especially here in the US. And I have no doubt that this trend is going to happen throughout the world. As soon as real estate gets organized, people are going to want to look for or let me rephrase it. As soon as there's a centralized point of search, I think people are going to gravitate to it. And here in the US, 98% of our search is online. So as you guys are building up your business and building up your real estate, make sure that you prepare yourself not only for this change, but to take the lead with this change. This is the way we search in the US. Okay, I'm sleeping and my wife is searching. All right. We know this, that 95% of all activity is video online. So as a real estate company, okay, one of the things that we did a long time ago is that we made a commitment to leverage technology. Not only because we were in South Florida, one of the most competitive real estate markets of all time, but we knew it was the best way to sell real estate even back then. And our investment back then, has paid tremendous dividends today. Today, all of our listings are on video. So when this pandemic hit and everybody had to go home and go online, we were still able to show our properties 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And what I think this pandemic is causing is making everybody realize that us realtors, number one, need to step up our game and make sure that we can show properties 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Okay. Number two, this cuts my showing time by 90%. So this is a huge time saver. Moving forward, I think the same way that people have an appraiser, an inspector, an attorney, part of their sales team, okay, some sort of videographer, content creator, it is that new addition moving forward that those that build a reputation in the next 5 to 10 years, this is what it's going to be built upon. So I'm gonna escape this real quick, and I'm gonna show you a little bit of what we do with our videos. So can we see my screen? Everybody say yes. All right, awesome. So first thing we do is we host our video on YouTube. YouTube for me is the second most search engine in the world. So I want to make sure that YouTube knows that I exist. So I go in there, I put in hashtags, I put in a description, I make sure that I'm super duper visible. Okay, and the cool thing, yeah, ask me, interrupt me.
Can you put it on a show mode? Show
Yes.
mode is to have more large picture.
Show mode. Let me see
your presentation. Yes.
Let me see. Show mode. Basic, advanced.
Now it's small.
Let me see.
Maybe
right
to use
hand
Zoom.
corner, down right.
How about now?
Oh, now we see YouTube.
Perfect. Do you see it big?
Yes.
Okay,
it's
perfect.
Better. Yeah, that's it.
All right, awesome. So here is my YouTube. This is where I host my video. And you can see we started doing this over, I want to say 14, 13 years ago. So we have thousands and thousands and thousands of videos. And again, for us, investing in this has been a game changer. I think moving forward, those that want to practice and build their business for the next 5 to 10 years, these are some of the tools that you need to sort of incorporate it. And the reason why I love it is really because it gives me analytics. So you can see right off the back, you know, my views are up, and my views are up hugely because people aren't able to go out and see property, okay? And they've been forced to see property anyways because they want to see it. And you can see here how it's working. If I go here, look how cool this is. YouTube allows me to have real-time updates. So this is showing you real time in the last 60 minutes who's actually watching my videos and which videos are outperforming. Okay, these videos I also get and I put them on LinkedIn. Okay, if you guys haven't connected with me on LinkedIn, please connect with me. But again, this is a great place to host your video and again, be able to flex your value proposition, but more importantly, grow what I call your proof of success. Okay, keep in mind that here in the US, we get 64% of our business from our social circle and our past clients. Okay, all of our past clients, this is where we collect a lot of them. So I want to make sure that I have a presence there. Okay, on Facebook, again, we do the very same thing, and we distribute our content here on Facebook as well. Let me go here real quick to the videos just to show you a little bit of how we distribute our content. Let me come over here. And boom, here we go. So we just want to make sure that we're able to hit our audience in whatever platforms exist. You know, 22 years ago, when I first got into the business, it was phone, door knocking, showing up to your house. Today, my audience is split. My audience is in different mediums. So I want to make sure that from a business, from a branding perspective, from an outreach perspective, that I'm able to hit my audience wherever it is. The analytics, I'm a big fan of the analytics because it's a good way for me to report to my audience, to let them know how my marketing is performing. Okay, do I need to lobby for a price reduction? You know, hey, Mr. Seller, look how many views we have, and we still don't have an offer. I think it's time we consider a price improvement. So this is how I sort of leverage a little bit of this marketing. One of the things that I've also learned in my 20-something years is the fact that I need to brand myself and that I need some consistency in my brand. So I'm going to show you a little bit here in our Instagram account, some of our branding. And the reason why I want to show you this is very simple. In real estate, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of competition out there. You have to make sure that you distinguish yourself as something separate. And the best way to do it is to use the same color, the same font, the same scheme. Okay, you're going to want consistency in that. You're going to want to look to see what's going on in your environment and ask yourself, how can I tie that to real estate? Okay, and again, branding and consistency is what builds reputation. There is no secret sauce, again, besides just being consistent with that. Let me go back to over here. Does anybody have any questions so far? No, you guys are a great group so far. Let's see how we're doing on time. All right.
I would like to ask you, I don't know whether you plan to do it, but it would be nice. I saw it lasts only 1.26 minutes. So would it be nice to see just a quick presentation of one of your houses, which you post?
Okay. I can show that.
That would be very nice.
I can show that. I can show that. So let me go back to YouTube. And you know what? Let me come over here and let me give you a little bit of South Florida. So boom. So as that's loading, let me talk to you a little bit about what we do. Number one, we get a wide angle camera, lens, 16 millimeters. We shoot at 60 frames per second, okay? And we do that so we can slow down our footage really slow and it still look very, 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 very smooth, okay? We use non-copyright music, and if it's on the water, we love to use the drone, okay? Just to make sure that we do this. So I'm gonna show the front, I'm gonna show a little bit of the inside, and then I'm gonna show the end. This video is 3 minutes. I don't know if I want to bore you that long with it, so I might just get to the fun part. So this is the front, and again, we try to show as much as we can with a wide angle lens, and then boom, we want to go inside, and as you guys can see, as you enter, you see the ocean in the back, and that was really our goal. So the wide angle lens allows you to see not only the ceiling, but the floor, okay? My goal is very simple. Can I make you feel like you're walking in this house from your iPhone, your iPad, or your computer? And then, can you make a decision? George, I like this house, or George, I don't like this house, okay? And again, using this strategy has allowed me, number one, to cut my showing time by 90%. Number two, it's allowed me to show this property 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, when the owner doesn't want to show, when the client wants to show, okay? It allows me to show this to any client anywhere in the world, as you can see right now, okay? This is what I would call an international open house. Now, we went from room to room to room. Okay, I tried not to cut anything that I thought was important. And let me fast forward this a little bit, and let's go to the backyard. So this is the master. So we try to end it with a beautiful shot, boom, of the outside, and then boom, we take advantage of aerial drone video. And again, what we want to show is we want to show the water, we want to show the house, and the drone allows you, check this out, look at this, I shot this. Are you ready for this? Look at this. All the way down. So the drone allows you to show properties in a way that it hasn't been shown before. And the drone shows things that are important to people, like highways, like parks, schools, how close airports are. And again, it shows properties in a way that it's never been seen before. And going back to South Florida being one of the most competitive real estate markets of all time, you know, these are some of the things that we have to do, you know, to earn listings on the water, to be competitive, you know, to be able to compete and, you know, sell and market from an international perspective. Does anybody have any questions on this? Unmute yourself. Don't be shy.
can I
Jorge,
ask a question?
Hello, Paul.
Paul Jabara. Hello, guys. How are you? George, I just wanted to ask a couple of things. That's an amazing, amazing video. And it really does give you the feel of the whole property itself. Because of the COVID-19, has that impacted your sales? Because you know, people like to actually feel the property itself. I mean, I asked it, I actually put it to everyone there, how many sales have you had? That wasn't meant to be like direct question, but have you seen an increase or are people buying? And what happens with the process of after they've agreed with you that they're going to buy? How do you do the transactions? Is it being done online? Are people moving or not yet?
So you know what? Great question. And in Miami is a world city. So no matter what happens, you know, South Florida does not stop moving. So let me start off with that. Have we seen a huge panic of people stay in their homes and not go out? Absolutely, we have. And has that slowed down sales? I think we're going to see it moving in the near future. Remember that in our industry, you know, the work that we do today, we see it 3 to 4 months down the line. So I think we will start seeing, again, in the next month or so, a huge slowdown in some of our sales. Now, what am I seeing right now? I am in an environment where interest rates are at a historically low level. So people in my country can get a house at a 3.5% interest rate, which is very, 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 very enticing for buyers. So I think I have a huge group of people that are taking advantage of that. Now, I do have a demographics of buyers that are in the service industry, hotel, restaurant, travel, that if they were in between a transaction, you know, some of those transactions did fall. You know, they recently became unemployed, and lenders have been getting strict recently and verifying employment more aggressively. So I am seeing some of those changes from a rental perspective. I'm seeing tenants that were in the middle of a good rental property have to downsize because, again, they were in the service, travel, or restaurant industry. So yeah, you know, we are seeing impacts. You know, maybe 10 to 15% of our deals right now. I do suspect that we're going to feel a little bit heavier moving on, but at the same time, oof, you know what, the temperature here in America is that you know what, we're going to figure out a way to get back to work, you know, either with masks or gloves, but you know, our world has to keep on. You know, we can't be locked up here for another 30 to 45 days. I think, you know, there's going to be a new norm, a new social distancing way of working that we're going to have to figure out and sort of take advantage of. And again, real estate here is an essential business. It's been considered essential. And again, you know, we house nurses, we house doctors, we house firemen, police officers. And again, we have to put on our masks and we have to risk our lives, but we have to make sure that business continues. So I think those that were thinking about selling their house, I think that, and don't need, that are no rush, I think they're going to hold off until there's a better environment. I think those that need to sell are going to find professional agents that take advantage of virtual tours, of property tours, and figure ways to show property to the best of their ability without physically showing them the property. And only when they really pre-qualify do they get somebody in there. So I think those that leverage that technology and that are able to market that to their consumers, hey, let me tell you my superpowers that I have during these times. Let me tell you why you should hire me to be your realtor, because I can show your property without. Let me show you my capabilities. I think it's a very powerful message. And again, one that I think is going to be a reputation builder and a business changer, you know, moving forward. Does that answer your question?
Okay. Paul, is it okay?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, sorry, I was on mute because then otherwise you get a lot of background noise.
Thank you for doing that. And Paul is from England. For those that don't know him, and he he was very involved in the promoting the listings, etc., and website. So it is obvious that at this time the people are slower in their buying and selling process, but I suppose they are increasing, watching what is on the market, if they are willing to buy, or watching how the things are going on, if they are willing to sell, and as soon as this pass, what is your opinion, what you're forecasting? Now they became familiar and see that we can do it online. So when this pass, do you expect that more and more people will do it online?
Oh no, I think it's slowly going to become the norm. I think that consumers, our audience, not even realtors, I think our audience is becoming very, very smart, and I think our audience knows, you know, what marketing capabilities realtors have, and I think more importantly, those that are shopping today, or selling their house today, will forever change their mindset and their expectations on what a real estate professional needs to deliver. And again, alluding back to what I was going to earlier, for me, having somebody, you know, people talk about this all the time, and I'm very much into tech. You know, George, is tech going to replace us? Is tech going to replace us as an industry? Are realtors the next, you know, industry to go? And I respond to people with this response always. If we stay stagnant, absolutely. Okay. And if we don't innovate, we're not going to move. And for me, the biggest tech that we've been missing out on, that we've been having, is our ability to show property anywhere at any place. And I think that, you know, the Uber of real estate is only going to exist, okay, if we don't work harder and bring our properties or our product to the consumer in the easiest way possible. Does that make sense?
So this is pushing us more
absolutely
to follow the technology, to develop to the maximum possible of our possibility the service that we are giving, as to stay alive.
Listen, to fight technology, to become relevant, to make sure that as technology, as innovation happens, that we are still an integral part of our industry. Let me share this with you, because I think you would get a kick out of this. 10 years after I got my license, the internet boomed, and what happened in my industry was this. You know, no longer did the consumer have to come into my office and get a list of properties. You know, I controlled search back then. If you wanted to know what was for sale, you had to come into my office, sit down at my desk, and I had to give you the piece of paper or make a copy for you. Okay, when the internet boomed, okay, we got scared and we said, oh my God, we're scared. You know, no longer does the consumer have to come to my office. Now they can go and huddle behind a computer and find it on their own. And we thought that our business was going to be cut in half, that the role of the realtor was going to be less. And when you fast forward to today, you know, in America, 96% of all transactions last year were done with a real estate transaction, the highest ever. So as technology has evolved and boomed, the real estate professional has still and has always been sort of that technology engine that is still an integral part of the technology.
So that means 96% of all the transactions in real estate were passed through realtor, to real estate agent.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
You got it. The highest ever last year.
Okay, and tell me, to come back to your video, it was rendered? This is not it is rendered space of the house you made video, or it is like that? It's all white.
No. So that was the actual house.
That's actual house. And
yeah,
how many?
That was a real house, real filming with the camera.
Oh, it's so white, so it looks to me as rendered.
Yeah, no, that was real.
Okay, and tell me, what is the percentage of exclusive agreements in your on your listing?
So right now we have over 370 exclusive listings currently right now.
But do you have also the open listings?
No, we don't. We don't. We don't.
So it's 100% of your listing is exclusive agreement.
Yeah,
because we were speaking about that one of before webinars about exclusive representation. That is very interesting for the people out of United States, because not everywhere is present.
Listen, tell me, I travel all over the world, and that is the biggest topic everywhere, from Spain to France. Everywhere is about exclusive representation and how we do it here in the U.S. And I'm going to tell you this. Number one, it's ingrained in our culture. So I think that first of all, us real estate professionals need to understand that we provide better service for the consumer when we all work together. Number one, I know this, that when a consumer works with one realtor only, and that realtor is able to focus all of their efforts from a marketing perspective, from a strategy perspective, from a negotiating perspective, they tend to do much better than when you have an open listing and you have fragmented marketing or fragmented attempts to sell your property. So with that being said, what we do here in the US is, give me 1 second because I have an alarm going off somewhere. All right, here, I found my alarm. We have our system is one that again, it was sort of engraved in the culture of our industry, and there it is. That was my iWatch. And again, our MLS and the reason why we are so successful is because our MLS was built on the premise of cooperation. And if we are going to be able to provide fair and equal representation to both parties, there has to be compensation. And I think that as you guys grow your real estate industry in your countries, take a look at the US, not only for all the good stuff, but more importantly for all the mistakes that we've made. And pick and choose what you feel, okay, you can add value in your market and bring it in there. For us, exclusive representation is very important. It's the only way we do business, because we invest a lot of time, marketing, and effort to get it out there. Question.
I have two questions.
Good.
The first one, who is shooting those videos with the camera? Do you have a professional guy, or your agents are trained to do it by themselves?
So you know, a great question. And I'm going to go back to my title. I was born in the boom, but I was raised in the crash. So for many years, I did the videos. Okay. And I'll share with you this. Let me actually take off my my virtual background, and you can see that even from my hand's distance, I have my gimbal. So this is my DJI gimbal that I have. Okay, from my hand's distance, I got my Sony wide angle. I got, even from my hand's distance, I have my boom mic from a mic perspective. I am by nature a creative by nature, and I love to create content. So when the industry changed and the industry went online, I needed to invest in some tools, and I knew that video and creating content on a computer, on a mobile device, on an iPad was the direction. And I'm not one to go and pay somebody to have them learn. I needed to learn myself. And the reason why I needed to learn myself was because it was brand new for everybody, even myself and for my industry. And if I was ever going to delegate that to somebody else, if I was going to ever get an assistant or a videographer, I need to get them in there and say, hey, this is how I want it. This is how I do it. This is why I do it. And that to me has been an easy transition compared to, well, let me rephrase it. I haven't shot video in probably 3 years, okay? And the reason why I haven't shot video in probably 3 years is because I've gotten very involved in leadership from a local, state, and national level. And that requires a lot of traveling. And when you have 480 agents, their listings need to be filmed now, you know, not later, not tomorrow. And we've been lucky that we've been able to find some great videographers that have been able to work with us. And now I don't shoot video at all. And I don't like it. And let me tell you why. I used to love to meet my agents at the properties. You know, it was my favorite way to connect. I'm a real estate broker. I don't like to not be with people. I like to surround myself with like-minded people. I like to see properties. I like to see what they're doing. I like to find ways to get involved. And behind a desk, it sucks. It sucks. You know, when you get in the field and you're opening the doors, you know, you're moving couches around to get the right shot. You know, going back to what I was telling you earlier about the pandemic, when you rub shoulders with agents on the field, you know, I think you tend to build the best relationships than in a boardroom or in a training hall. And for me, that was some of my favorite parts of my industry. Not that I don't enjoy what I do now, but it keeps you in tune. And the other part that I like also is that when I used to go with them to shoot the video, I used to be able to talk with the owners, and it would give me a great pulse on their thoughts and what they were looking for, what was their expectations. And again, that helps me go back when we're creating content and creating stuff that consumers are looking for or that catch their eye.
It should be more easy.
Huh?
There is a guy, there is a person for you working, you know, somebody that you delegated the truth. Not the agents.
Sure.
The agents are not trained to do it like that. They have professional.
So you know what? I don't want the agents doing it. No, number one, there's a certain quality and a certain look that we're looking for. We're looking for consistency. Remember a little bit about what I told you earlier about branding is keeping things the same. So you buy real estate in people's minds.
Should it be more easier to teach the agent to do the video in these days when I don't know if you do it also with mobiles or only with
So you know what? Check this out. As a real estate agent, think this, that you need to have this done for your listing, and either A, if you're like me, that you enjoy a camera, you know, you might want to, as a hobby, you know, do it yourself. I bought my camera first and foremost when my first son was born. And then I had to give my wife an excuse on why I bought the camera, and then it was for real estate. So I got to piggyback that excuse. But I'm very hands-on, and being born with technology doesn't scare me. So when I see an agent, you know, do something online, you know, I'm the first one to Google it, and I want to do it first. And then when I do it first, my next question is, am I good? And if I'm not good, can I pay somebody to make it better? And if I can pay somebody to make me look better, then they're going to get paid. And if I'm doing it good enough, then I'm going to do it. So you know what, as an agent, if you got the money, do it. And I'm a firm believer in this. You know, we have to invest in our business. And the beauty about video is that it never dies. You add it to your website, you add it to your Throwback Thursdays on your social media, you know, you use it, you know, on click campaigns to get more business. Video never, it's not like a postcard or a print campaign that you throw it away. It never dies. So on your website, look at my last transactions. You know, again, it's a phenomenal, it's my favorite proof of success that you can demonstrate to your audience that you're real, and look at the level that I'm on. When I'm with my agents, I love to tell them this. You know, in the US, 1% of our listings have a video. 1%. Okay. And my business is a reputation business. It's a reputation business. Do I want to grow my reputation with a tool that only 1%, the most elite, use? Absolutely. You know, that's how I want my audience to know. If I work with George, this is how, you know, or if I list with George, this is how he sells. And the reason why I listen with George is when I see the other realtors, you know, they're still using, you know, the same techniques that the other realtors have used.
So you distinguish yourself from the others.
Not only do I distinguish, but I use that as a reputation builder to keep that distinguished, you know, present, to separate myself from the pack.
So with the drones, that the video, the dronage video, did you do that yourself, or you had a specialist company?
No, I did that myself. You don't know me very well, but I'm like Top Gun.
So you do have.
Oh, listen, I've gone through 12 to 13 drones. I have on my YouTube channel, I have my greatest hits and my greatest crashes on the drones. I'm probably like on my 14th drone already. Keep in mind that a drone is a big investment, and sometimes you want to get the shots, and a very conservative drone pilot won't make the moves sometimes that you need to get the shot. And I'm not scared of losing the drone in order to get the shot. Is probably the best way that I can say. So I'm a pilot. I get out there and I fly that bad boy. I get the shots that I want, and I bring it home for the most part.
Okay, one of my neighbors just got one for, well, it was for Christmas. So he's been taking some beautiful video shots of it, but he keeps telling me that it takes a long while because you're actually learning how to drive it. So it's like learning, you know, like doing a whole course of learning how to drive the actual drone itself.
So you know what? I've been flying drones since they first came out. And I'm gonna put here on the chat, just so you guys can, when you guys are really, really bored, I'm gonna put on the chat my greatest crashes, and that also links up to my YouTube channel. So if you guys want to subscribe and take a look at, you know, not only the videos that we're shooting on properties, but we're also shooting, you know, agent videos. And again, we try to grow our agent's reputation, leveraging, you know, video and smart marketing. Keep in mind this, guys. In 2020, there's so much tech out there. Okay, and there's very few techs that really work. I don't know if that makes any sense to you guys. Okay, real estate's been around for 200 years here in the U.S., and the basics are really what works all the time. Let me go here and let me put here on the chat my videos. So this is actually me with when I first started droning. When we would have to strap on a GoPro to the front of the drone. That's how long ago it was. And again, it has my greatest hits and my greatest crashes. And then you'll see my kids in there as well. Think that there's probably $30,000 to $40,000 worth of drones that we've lost in the last couple of years.
Let me ask you something, Jorge. When you were showing the video with the drone, recently when I did that, I was having an issue, you know, when we shot the house we want, but at the same time we shot the surrounded house of the neighbors. So the neighbor was some, you know, somebody that was not easy to to manage, you know. And you shot, you were shooting his house, you are recording his house, and then you are putting it on advertising. Are there any restrictions about that?
So you know what? The restrictions are mostly on distance from the airport and flight restrictions. I think that number one.
I mean, you are selling this home, but when you're making the video with you're showing the neighbor.
I understand the question, and the best answer that I can, that the truth is that when we have a property, we do not go around knocking on doors and asking for permission. We don't. What we do is, before we launch the drone, we visualize and we try to have the best idea of what we want to shoot and how we want to shoot it. So when we get that drone up there, you know, the drone is not up there for 15 to 20 minutes. You know, we're up and we get our shots in 3 to 5 minutes and we bring the drone back. Thinking back, you know, we've had some situations that that people have talked to us and come up to us, and I have found this out, that if I am very nice and I explain to them why I am shooting and what I am doing, okay, they tend to let me do what I do. Okay, if I go there with a little bit of an attitude, then we have a problem. So thinking back to my last two confrontations, you know, I had somebody come up and say, "Are you flying that drone, boy?" I said, "Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm a real estate agent, and you know, your front door neighbor is looking to sell his house, and I'm almost done with the shot. Is there a problem, sir?" And okay, no, it's my front door neighbor, no problem. So again, I think if you're smart, if you talk to people correctly, I think you should be all right. Also make sure that you keep your drone on your subject property. You know, don't put it in your neighbor's backyard either, facing their window.
Otherwise, we could sell a few homes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, tell me, Jorge, when you think about all this technology that you use, could you make a priority, or those applications and tools that you consider the most valuable for you?
So listen, great question, and I'm gonna go as smart tech
You will
as
have to choose.
So listen, I'm gonna make it very simple. You know, when it comes to technology, number one, okay, make sure that you're able to find real estate for your clients. So search, you know, what technology are you using to find property? Number one, okay. Number two, value. When you find the property, what technology are you using to come up or to generate value and be able to estimate how much a house is going to sell for or be worth? Okay. The third technology, okay, is online signatures. You know, I need you to be able to remotely sign signatures like this. Okay. So that is the basics. Okay. Now, the other technology that I'm looking for is marketing. Okay. I want to be able to shoot, you know, my superpowers to as many people as possible. So I think this, from a technology perspective, you need to have a computer where you can, you need to have a videographer, okay, or you need to have tech capabilities to shoot and edit video, okay? Once you get that video, you need the technology to upload it and distribute it. So it's not only technology, it's tech comprehension and distribution. So where to get this technology and how to distribute it. So online. When it comes to your business, okay, your social circle and past clients, there is technology out there like a CRM where you get to organize your people and be consistent with your messaging. So whether you do that on an Excel or whether you do that in a CRM, whatever technology you're using to connect with your audience, I think is important. My favorite piece of technology is your phone. This is the most powerful tool you have. Okay, the most powerful tool you have. Use it. Direct connection, communication, FaceTime. This is and will always be a relationship business. So the most important technology is the one that you use to communicate, to collaborate, to express yourselves, to build relationships. And all the rest of the technology, you know, is an add-on to that relationship.
So if somebody will afraid of what will come after the crisis pass, and will we dependent so a big level on the technology, relax. So we will still need human communication. And even, you know, I told already that I was afraid at some time of development of internet. I said, why would clients need us? They have everything on the internet. Why would they need us? But it shows up in most development countries where technology is so present, the agents are more wanted.
Oh, let me tell you something. 20 years ago, when I got my license, okay, like I said earlier, the internet was boomed, okay, and understand this, that as technology evolves, so does the complexity of that technology, and only realtors are trained on how to leverage that complexity of that technology to find value and provide value for their client. remember that a real estate transaction happens every 7 to 9 years, like a graduation, like a wedding, you know, and due to the distance of that transaction, people will always look for a professional, someone that can run it and avoid any problems and make sure that it is smooth. So regardless of consumer education, the complexity, the moving parts that happen, you know, will always require a professional who leverages technology, you know, to create a phenomenal experience for their consumer. So think that a technology is going to evolve, but think that the user and is going to be a trained real estate professional that's going to be looking at all of the different factors of our deal to make sure that it goes smooth. So I hope that gives you some insight on where my mind is at with that.
If I could say it this way, all the technology is still a tool who has to be used by somebody, and these are this is the agents of Realtor who has to use it and to be dedicated to somebody, and these are our clients.
You got it.
Okay, thank you very much, Jorge, for this. I hope we help the people to take a piece of experience that is greatly applied in one of the biggest and most developed market in the world, and which is Miami. Thank you for being with us today. I hope everybody liked this. As the other webinars, this is also recorded and will be put it on my YouTube channel. I invite you, when you visit YouTube channel, to like this. Maybe we will be more accessible if we're doing that. And I invite you in the Tuesday after the Easter. The Easter we celebrate this week in Orthodox countries. So I will wish to all the people that celebrate it happy Easter. Next webinar will be at Tuesday. I will have another guest that will try to contribute for developing of our skills and prepare more better for what we have to do after the crisis pass. On the end, is anybody has any question to ask Jorge or George? But I like to say it like it is, Jorge.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
No, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
I had a second one, but we skipped
Shoot.
it. It's very
Shoot.
short. What is your USP? Unique selling proposition.
What is my so you know what, it shifts depending on who my client is. If he's a buyer, if he's a seller, if he's an investor.
Probably a seller.
So great question. So what would be my unique selling proposition? So I would have several. Number one, I would have reputation. Number two, I would flex to you a little bit about how I leverage technology and my marketing reach capability. And I would show you my listing presentation, which goes into detail on how we do that. Would you like to see my listing presentation?
Yes, please.
Huh? All right. I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. Let me
say yes.
So you had a short question that required a long answer.
That's a good. That's much better than having a long question that you answer with yes.
Yeah, let me find that real quick for you.
While Jorge is looking for that, I will try something.
All right. I found it. Let me do you guys see? Let me share my.
Just one moment while you prepare it. Linda, I will try to hear you now. Hello, Linda. No, it seems that microphone is not working. Okay, Jorge.
All right. Let me go back to boom share. All right. All right, you guys see that full screen? All right. So I love to tell people it's no longer about curb appeal, it's about web appeal. And if you listen to me speak, it's one of my catchphrases. I talked to them a little bit about a league of our own, where we stand. So I talked about real estate Salesforce, how we're a high technology brokerage, that we use unique advantages over other brokerages. If you guys want, take pictures with your phone and you guys can save this. Don't be shy, don't be shy. All right. So again, this talks a little bit about our company and in South Florida and our size of 450 agents and the fact that we use virtual tools to get the word around. This is a little bit about me. Okay. So in my brokerage, we also leverage a little bit of, some of the press and success that I garnered, and we leverage that on some of our agents to help build their reputation as well. So here it talks about some of the awards and some of the places that we've been recognized and that we've been able to talk. Here is where we put the agent's information. So this is Jeremy Milligrom, and he gets to put his information and his bio there. And we also add a team page. Okay, so one thing that we want is that the agent to make the consumer feel that it's not just them by themselves, that there's a whole team behind them. So there's me, the managing broker, Denora, director of sales, Betty, our legal consultant, Yvonne, our director of marketing, Monica, our executive assistant, and Monica Lore, she's in charge of the transactions, paperwork, due dates, etc. Okay, here is where we list the properties that we sold. So here's where we show a little bit of our history. If we have, and here he's actually showing one. Okay, here we talk a little bit about what we do before we list, when we go live, and after we list. Okay, I come here, and here I give you a visual draw out of what we do and how we do it. So obviously we start off with professional photography, with a walkthrough video, with a drone. We create a single property website. We throw a property sign there. A coming soon campaign is launched. MLS launch, just listed campaign, a print campaign that we send out to the consumer. A mobile app, targeted video on Facebook. On our email campaign, let me see real quick. Door hangers. So when we go on door knocking to let the community awareness that there's a listing, open house collateral, direct mail, open house stuff, ongoing campaign, and obviously we enter with the just sold. We show them a list of all the different places that our marketing reaches. Okay. And this is actually missing one page. We also have another page with testimonials that has, some of our clients' testimonials on their experience with us. So did that give you a little idea on what our value proposition is?
Thank you very much, Jorge. Jorge,
Pleasure's
I hope all of you are satisfied with this insight to one of the most developed markets in the world, which is Miami, and one of the best brokers that area that shared with us how is he doing to make huge success in his market. Just to remind that we were having this webinar participants from Slovenia, from Croatia, from Bosnia and Herzegovina, and from Great Britain, Scotland. As a matter of fact, my son is from Cambridge attending here, and all, of course, from Serbia. Thank you all very much. Thank you, George, and all the best to you. I hope we will arrange something else soon, because we are cooperating associations.
All right. Good to see you, and I'll see you soon. Hopefully in person.
All the best.
Bye-bye.